Hello everyone, so this podcast will be all about my project Flawless on which I was working on for the past couple of months. So this is the first project which I directed and produced in which I have shown a girl named Anya who have OCD and is obsessed with perfectionism. According to her, everything around her just seems to be perfect, although as the story approaches to the end, we see that how Anya is surrounded by failure which was not even acceptable for her, which also fulfills the theme of paranoia in my film. However, now comes the question that how my film challenges or uses the conventions and how does it represent social groups and issues. So, in my film, I used and challenged conventions of psychological thriller genre to encode themes like reality versus illusion, as in Anya's mindset, everything was just perfect, but in reality, she was surrounded by flaws. More themes like perfection, obsession, and fragility are also shown. Apart from these genre conventions, I used the technical conventions like the mise-en-scene of Anya's bedroom, in which we have shown certificates, medals, and neatly aligned pens, which reflects upon the claustrophobic setting and Anya's perfectionist mindset. I also challenged more technical conventions through my use of bright lighting in the drawing room scene, the scene 2. However, psychological thriller genre usually rely on low-key dull lighting to create tension and unease, but I deliberately did this to contradict Anya's fragility with brightness to show how anxiety can be masked by perfection. Moreover, there were scenes in which Anya's OCD was getting triggered, and I was not aiming to tell the audiences directly about it, and at the same time, I wanted to create unease and tension in that scene. So, for that, I used sound effects and music. So, in the starting of the first scene, minimalistic and calm sound were used as at that time Anya was just working on her laptop. But as the scene follows, Anya's OCD got triggered when her pens got dislocated, so the sound changes to a disturbing and triggering sound. It was completely to hook the audiences and to make them feel that there is something wrong in the scene and to increase their focus and attention towards the scene. Lastly, to challenge the technical conventions, in my opening sequence, I used canted angle to show disorientation and emerging of threat. It was used in the third scene where Anya was holding a knife in her hands and was continuously bringing it closer to her wrist. This also represents the consequences of society pressures and social desirability on the mental health of youth. Representations of social groups and issues are also included in my opening sequence as a young girl is shown. The main purpose of choosing a girl for this role was to represent that how academic performance disproportionately affect women in our societies. Anya's certificates, medals, and perfectionism in her studies showed that how students are defined by achievements in our society. Moreover, Anya was shown with OCD, a condition which is often overlooked in mainstream media. For this, I wanted to give a proof, so in my opening sequence, I added Mira's role, which was limited to only one scene, but it was extremely significant as it showed that how peers lack awareness and empathy and misunderstand mental health struggles, which creates isolation and barriers in social interactions. As despite Mira's presence, Anya's compulsions isolates her emotionally because she was not able to express fully who she was. Moving forward, my opening sequence includes wider issues like mental health, anxiety, and destructive nature of perfectionism. The main issue which is highlighted is the self-harm, which is symbolized by the knife used by Anya to harm herself. By combining challenges and conventions and representing social groups and issues, Flawless critically reflects today recognizable real-world issues surrounding mental health, obsession, paranoia, and moral ambiguity.